Hi and welcome students. In today's PowerPoint 2016 tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create and format a SmartArt graphic. Let's get started. So to create and format a SmartArt graphic, we have to first learn what they actually are. A SmartArt graphic is a visual representation of information that you create by choosing from various layouts to communicate your message or ideas effectively. These can include text or pictures, and some of the features are colors, effects, and styles. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a SmartArt graphic from a bulleted list and also convert it back to text, as well as change some of the other features mentioned down here at the bottom. Now, one thing that I want to let you know is that this tutorial will also be applicable to Microsoft Word or Microsoft Publisher. If you're using either of those programs, they contain SmartArt graphics as well. So this is something that I find very effective to make my presentations better, and it's one of my favorite things about the PowerPoint program and the Microsoft Office suite in general. So let's get started. First off, I have a bulleted list right here. It says a different event each week as the header, and then you'll see the bulleted list down below. So the first thing that we're going to do in today's tutorial is create a SmartArt graphic from bulleted points. So you'll see that right here, I have my bullet points, and I have a first list level bullet point, which contains the week numbers, 1, 2, 3, and second list level points, which contains the indented bullets below them. If you need additional information on list levels, I also have a video for those in my PowerPoint playlist, so I won't spend too much time on them here, but that's what we're looking at in this scenario. So on this PowerPoint slide here, you'll see that I have now selected inside of my bulleted list. And one thing that I like to do before I make any changes to my entire bulleted list is to just select the placeholder, which is this dotted border that goes around my bulleted list. When I click on that, it'll make my dotted placeholder solid, letting me know that the entire placeholder and all of the bullets inside are now selected. All right, so now that we have that selected, we are going to convert this to a SmartArt graphic. Now, SmartArt graphics can be found in a couple different places, but when I'm converting a bulleted list to a SmartArt graphic, I typically like to stay within the Home tab. So you'll see that I'm in the Home tab up here at the top. Now I go to the paragraph group, and you'll see this command right here, convert to SmartArt graphic. And you'll see that the official definition for that is SmartArt is a great way to communicate information visually rather than with just text. Converting text on your slide to a SmartArt graphic, such as a diagram or flowchart, can organize and present your information as relationships, cycles, processes, or and more. Okay, so when we click this, take a look at what happens. It displays a list of different SmartArt graphics. Now, just so you all can see how these typically will look, you can hover over some of these, and these are the most popular options: vertical bullet list, and so on. So you'll see that this is a much more dynamic way to look at our bulleted lists, and you'll see that some of them work better than others. All right, so there's a lot of different categories of SmartArt graphics and a lot of different individual SmartArt graphics to choose within those categories. To view all of the categories, you just need to go down to the very bottom that says More SmartArt Graphics. And when you click that, it'll open a list of, or a dialog box that says choose a SmartArt graphic. Now, one thing that I don't really like is that when you click on the graphic within here, it just gives you a sample on the top right side. It doesn't actually show you on the preview in the background what these will look like, but maybe that's something that they can add to a future version of Microsoft Office. But for now, we'll have to choose them based off of these diagrams on the right side, as well as the name and description below those. All right, so now that we know what we're looking at here, let's take a look at this left side. Each of these are graphic types here. You'll see that you have one called list. This is a good way to show non-sequential information. So non-sequential information for list. A process shows steps in a process or timeline. You'll see what they look like here. A cycle shows a continual process. This could be something that never ends. Right? A hierarchy. This shows a decision tree or displays an organization chart. A relationship type, and this illustrates connections. A matrix, this shows how parts relate to a whole. A pyramid, this shows proportional relationships with the largest component on the top or the bottom. A picture, which includes pictures and layout to communicate messages and ideas. And finally, Office.com. This is additional ones available from Office.com. All right, there we go. So now that we know a little bit more about these, we're going to choose from list on this one on the left side. And we're going to choose this one here, vertical box list. All right, so we choose vertical box list. When we're ready to convert it, we simply go down here and click OK. And you'll see that it converts it. Now yours may be a different color from mine. It may have different effects or fonts, and this could be because your PowerPoint theme is different from mine, so don't worry if that's the case. I do have videos that go over themes, fonts, colors, and those types of things so that you know why your presentation is reacting this way. You'll also notice that I have this little box right over here, and you may not have this box. This box is called the text pane, and I use this all the time when I'm using SmartArt graphics. It's because it gives me basically what my bullets would look like had I not converted them to SmartArt. Now you might be wondering why that might be useful, and that's useful because as I change my SmartArt to different types, it starts to look less and less like a bulleted list. When it looks less and less like a bulleted list, it's going to be harder and harder to keep track of where all those bullets would normally be, which may make it more difficult to actually add or delete things from your SmartArt graphic. So if that's the case, you just need this text pane to appear. To get this text pane to show, you just go to the SmartArt Tools Design tab. You'll only see this tab if you have your SmartArt graphic selected. So in the SmartArt Tools Design tab, go to the Create Graphic group on the left side, and you'll see this right here, Text Pane. Show or hide the text pane. The text pane helps you quickly input and organize the text in the SmartArt graphic. I can remove it by clicking it and add it back by clicking it. So you'll see there it's now here to stay. All right. So now I've shown you how to view the text pane. Let's learn a little bit about our shapes within the text pane. So you'll see here that it says week 1, like my bulleted list. You'll see that this is a first list level, letting us know that it's the most important. This one is indented out as a second list level. This one's back to a first level, which also has this blue background on mine. And then the second list level is below. First list level for week 3, second list level for 25% park entrance discount. All right, so let's say that we want to add an additional shape to this graphic. All right, we wanted to add week 4 down below. Well, we can do that. We just need to go to the end right here where 25% park entrance discount is displayed. Then we can press enter. If we press enter, oops, looks like I didn't have my cursor in the right spot. Sorry about that. You have to go to the very end and click at the very end and press enter. And that will create a new shape. This new shape will be a second list level by default. To move it to a first list level, well, if you go from second to first, that's like a promotion. So we're going to go up to the SmartArt Tools Design tab, create graphic group, and click right here on promote. This increases the level of the selected bullet or shape. This option is most useful when working in the text pane. So we're going to click promote. And you'll now see that it's a first list level, as we could tell by the indentation, but we could also tell by the blue shape in the background. All right, so now I'll type in week 4. Looks good. And I'll press enter once more. When I press enter, it will create a new shape, but this one is a first list level, but we want it to be a description for week 4. So that would be a second list level. So let's, instead of promotion, you could get a demotion. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you in your career, but we need it for this one. So let's go to the SmartArt Tools Design tab, create graphic group, and click demote. This decreases the level of the selected bullet or shape. This option, again, is most useful when working in the text pane. So we click Demote. There we go. And now when we start to type, 25% discount on food and beverages, you will see that the SmartArt graphic has adjusted size accordingly, and it's looking really good. All right. So if you have any questions about any of this along the way, please put that into the comment section below. Let's move on. So we're going to insert a SmartArt graphic using a content layout. So I have a new slide down here, okay, on slide 4 on mine. And I just created this slide with a title and content layout. So you can do the same on yours if you're following along. And on this one here, I'm going to show you how to insert a SmartArt graphic using a content layout. And so you'll see that whenever you have a title and content, you'll see some content options down here. You could either add text, and then we have table, chart, SmartArt graphic, pictures, online pictures, or video. We're going to choose Insert a SmartArt graphic. When we click this one, it'll open up the Choose a SmartArt graphic dialog box. Then you can choose again from the list of types on the left side. Okay. On this one here, we're going to go down to picture, and I wanted to show you how to insert pictures on your SmartArt graphics. This is sometimes one of my favorite ways to make my presentation look very well done. So I'm going to choose picture. From picture, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to choose this one called picture strips. All right, and you can use this one to show a series of pictures from top to bottom with level 1 text beside each. All right, that looks good. Level 1 is equivalent to like list level 1 that I was mentioning before. So let's click OK, and it will insert it here. You'll see that the text pane appears on the left side. Okay, and on the text pane, you'll notice that this little icon is to the left of it, and this is where you would insert your picture. All right, so we're going to, let's start with our pictures, okay? So I'll go to this first picture, and let's say that I wanted to get it from a file. That is where I would choose right here. From a file, you just click on Browse and choose the file on your computer, okay? Now, I didn't save these pictures to my computer before doing this recording. So I'm just going to use a Bing image search to search for online pictures. And let's say that on this one, as I said at the top, it's contact information for people at our company. So I'm going to just type in here business person. And hopefully this will give me some portraits of different business people that I can choose from. All right, so I see that right here we have a portrait, and we'll click this for this person's portrait, and we'll click insert. And you'll see that that puts that portrait right there. That looks good. Let's get some more. Let's go to the second one. On the second one, we once again click on the picture icon. I'll go over here to the Bing image search, and I will type in business space person. Okay, I'll scroll down this list. Let's add her in right there. Click on her picture and click insert. Okay, looks good. Great, let's move on now to the third picture. Once again, we click this picture. We go here. We type in business person, press enter. Let's find a portrait of someone else. Let's go with this guy right here. And click insert. Excellent. Now you'll see that each person's picture has been added to the SmartArt graphic, and now it's time to add the text. All right, so we will name this person here Michael Lewis, and you'll see that as you type that in, the text adjusts appropriately. Next, let's go to this second person here, and we will call her Sophia Ackerman. Looks good. And finally, the last person here will be, let's go with Joseph Mercado. All right. And there we go. All right, so there's all of our people. And let's say that these people work for different areas within our company. Let's say Michael Lewis works for our office in Canada. So Michael Lewis is here. We're going to press enter, and you'll see that it created a new shape for us, but we don't necessarily want that new shape. If this ever happens with you, you could simply do a Control Z on your keyboard or undo in the quick access toolbar, and it will undo that shape. All right. So let's say that you wanted to add in new um, a new line. We wanted to put Canada below Michael Lewis's name, but unfortunately, every time we press enter, again, it adds the shape. We don't want that. There is a trick to go down to the next line without creating the new shape, and all you have to do is hold Shift and press enter. And if you do that, it'll create a new line in your text pane, and now you can type in Canada. Great. Sophia Ackerman is from the United States, so we'll hold down Shift at the end of her name and press enter, and we'll type in United States. And Joseph Mercado is from Mexico, so we'll click at the end of his name, and we'll do Shift, enter, and we'll type in Mexico. Excellent. All right, great. So that's a little bit about how to insert pictures and text in a SmartArt graphic. Let's move on now to changing the size and shape of the SmartArt elements. When I'm done with typing everything, I typically like to look at how my SmartArt graphic is looking and design it further from here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the text pane either by clicking the X in the top right or by disabling the text pane within the ribbon. So I'll do either of those. Now let's say that I wanted their pictures to all be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click on Michael Lewis. I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard, click on Sophia Ackerman, still holding Control, click on Joseph Mercado. Now I can make some changes to the size of the picture. I'm going to go to the SmartArt Tools Format tab now. This is how we change things regarding the format. And I'll go to Shapes. And the first thing that I'm going to do is change the size to larger. And so I'm going to go here and I'm going to click larger 2 times to increase the size of the selected shapes. 1, 2. There we go. That looks good. And I could actually change the shape of the picture itself. On shapes like this that have a rectangle around them, I typically like to round the edges off, okay, to focus on the center of the picture a little bit more. So I'm going to go to Change Shape in the Shapes group. And I'll choose the second rectangle one, which is rounded rectangle. And you'll see it just rounds the edges. On this type of thing, you'll need to be careful that there's not important content in the bottom corners or the top corners. And in this one, we see that it is fine. Looks good. We could also do things like add borders around these shapes and things like that, but we're not going to do that. All right, so that's how we change the size and shape of SmartArt elements. Let's go to changing the SmartArt layout. We can always go to the SmartArt Tools Design tab and go to Layouts right here. And you'll see a list of layouts, and you can hit the More button. And typically it tries to use the same type layout. So in this case, pictures. We'll see more picture options. You can see some of these look really good. Some of these don't look so good. You might go with something like this. But this is how we would change the layout of any of these. And so you'll see that even if you choose a SmartArt graphic that maybe you don't end up liking at the end, you could usually go through and find something else within these layout options here that might better fit with what you're doing. Okay. So you'll see there's lots of different options here. I actually like this layout that we have already, so I'm not going to change it, but I did want to show you how to change the layout should you want to. All right. We're also going to go over here to the SmartArt Styles group, and right now I'm going to teach you how to change the color and style of your SmartArt graphic. We could go right here to Colors, and you'll see that you have your primary theme colors right here. You may decide one of these look better. I actually do like the ones with the border around the picture. I think it looks better that way, especially given that Sophia Ackerman's picture has a no background or transparent preset to it. So I could go through these. Now you might be wondering, why is the orange and blue and gray and yellow and another blue and green? These ones are simply your accent colors from your PowerPoint theme. So depending on your theme of your presentation, yours may look slightly differently than mine. I'm going to go with this colored outline accent 1 right here. I think that one looks really nice. All right, so that's how we change the colors. You can also change how the shapes themselves are being displayed in the SmartArt Styles group. If you go here, you'll see a list of different display shapes, and if you click the More button in the bottom right, you can see how these things change. You'll see some have a more dramatic effect than others. Some of them will look really good, some of them will look really bad. Okay, so you can change them up that way. I'll just go with this one right here, which is subtle effect. That looks good. All right. Finally, the last thing that I wanted to show you here was how to convert your SmartArt back to text. I'm not going to use this example here because we have pictures on it and it'll get rid of the pictures, and I feel like we worked on those for quite a bit of time, so I don't want to see them go away. Instead, I'm going to go here to our last slide. And let's say that we wanted to convert this back to text. The easiest way to do that is to click within the SmartArt graphic. I typically like to click the border, just deselecting anything inside of it. And then once I have that border selected of the SmartArt graphic, you'll see the SmartArt Tools Design tab up at the top. And on the right side, you'll see Reset Group, and you can choose Convert, and you can choose Convert to Text. And that will convert it back to text. So I hope that this tutorial has explained everything that you'll need to know for using SmartArt graphics in Microsoft PowerPoint 2016. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment box below. And other than that, thank you for watching. And if you have any other interest in watching PowerPoint videos, I do have a PowerPoint playlist on my on my channel page where you can find that, and all of them are listed in order of difficulty to most difficult and related topics. So maybe you'll find that helpful too. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.